This is your Philippine Army today. Pledged to safeguard the country's defense at all times, it has become, in contemporary history, a positive agent for reform and change under the new society. Its headquarters stand at Fort Bonifacio, Metro Manila, formerly known as Fort William McKinley. It was renamed after Andres Bonifacio, who led the Katipunan movement in the struggle for freedom against Spanish rule. Organized at the Tejeros Convention, the Philippine Army has proven its capability as a combat force at the start of the revolution against Spain and the subsequent battles it fought in quest of liberty. To this date, the Philippine Army assumes a firm and vigilant stand in meeting its requirements of defense and national stability. Aside from its defense mission, it has geared its capabilities toward greater involvement in non-military activities to assist the government in bringing changes designed to help the people in the process of development. As a premier unit of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine Army sets the goal towards a more secure and prosperous future for our country and people. The mission of the Philippine Army is to organize, train, and equip Army forces, both regulars and reserve, for the conduct of prompt and sustained ground action, specifically to defeat the enemy forces. Seize, occupy and defend land areas, and to strengthen the base of operations. To simplify the attainment of its mission, the Army established the following broad objectives. First, maintenance of forces in being. This force provides the initial protection in case of emergency and also constitutes the cadre for mobilization when the situation warrants. Second, revitalization of reserve force training following the citizen army concept. Third, support of activities in other fields directed towards national security and development. And fourth, assistance in the attainment of the objectives of Presidential Proclamation 1081. To accomplish these objectives, the Army has organized within the assets and resources made available to it. You can readily see that this organization is designed to meet immediate operational needs and can easily provide civic assistance whenever and wherever needed. Basically, the Army organization is made up of the following major combat units. The 1st Infantry Tabak Division, with headquarters in Fort Magsaysay, Palayan City, and which has operational jurisdiction over the provinces of Sulu and Tawi-Tawi. The 5th Infantry Division, with headquarters in Camp Aquino, Tarlac, which takes charge of the entire northern and central Luzon except Fort Magsaysay. The 2nd Infantry Division, with headquarters in Camp Kapinpin, Tanay, Rizal, which operates in southern Luzon area to include Palawan, Mindoro, and Marinduque, the entire Bicol region, including Masbate. The 3rd Infantry Division, with headquarters in Camp Lapu-Lapu, Cebu City, is given the responsibility over the entire Visayas group of islands except Masbate. And the 4th Infantry Division, with headquarters in Camp Evangelista, Cagayan de Oro City, which guards the southern end of our republic and the entire Mindanao except Sulu and Tawi-Tawi. Providing necessary Army-wide support are the 51st Engineer Brigade, the 52nd Engineer Brigade, Army Training Command, Army Support Command, Army Signal Group, Philippine Army Civil Relations and Information Service, the 500th Engineer Combat Battalion, Engineer Service Battalion, Army Reserve Command, Philippine Army Light Armor Regiment, Special Warfare Brigade, Light Home Defense Seaborne Brigade, the Philippine Army Finance Center, the Philippine Army General Hospital, Army Management Information Center, Army Record Center, Headquarters and Headquarters Support Group, and Army Aviation Battalion, as part of the Philippine Army Revitalization Program, continues to be on the developmental stage. The initial plan being the provision of appropriate aircraft to the field commanders for purposes of command, control, and observation. Exercising command and control to these units is the Headquarters Philippine Army, which plans, directs, and supervises all Army activities. This organization requires an adequate troop base to fully man its regular establishment. At present, our organizational strength is confined to a reasonable and adequate troop ceiling, which is augmented by extended trainees and draftees. Supporting this regular establishment are several standby reserve divisions that are manned by well-trained reservists. Of these reserve units, 6 infantry divisions are earmarked as priority units for mobilization. To assure effectiveness, the Army is engaged in various activities which could be grouped as follows. Training, operations, and socio-economic assistance in accordance with the Home Defense Program. The main focus of reserve training is the call for trainee service of 20-year-old Filipino youths. These trainees undergo varied types of training. Firstly, in basic military skills, to prepare them for effective combat soldiers. And secondly, in vocational skills, to prepare them to be responsible citizens and to secure for the country a stronger framework for people and security. Upon completion of training, these trainee graduates are given specific slots in the regular establishment to be able to apply the skills that they have learned and and after a period of service, become members of the reserve units. ROTC training in colleges and universities is likewise a major source of the Army's reserve units. These involve campus instructions during weekends and field training during summer. A revitalized training program has been instituted by all ROTC units, which incorporate home defense activities into the overall ROTC curriculum. In order to maintain the level of proficiency of the reservists, inactive reservists are required to undergo a 30-day annual active duty training to update them with current military doctrines. On the other hand, training for preparedness for forces in being is made in keeping with the prevailing situation and environmental requirements for defense. The Army training involves the participation of the entire command. At Army level, centralized training for both officers and enlisted personnel on occupational specialties is undertaken by the Army Training Command. Unit training is, however, undertaken by the divisions and brigades in their Army training groups to effectively mold units by taking advantage of the terrain in different parts of the country, thus optimizing conventional training objectives. Conventional as well as unconventional warfare training are being emphasized. Civil relations, motivation and enlightenment, or tanglao, and other home defense activities are also accentuated. In this connection, aside from requiring military personnel to undergo formal training at the Philippine Army Training Command, the Army also sends officers and enlisted personnel to foreign schools. In addition, military personnel are also sent on scholarship grant to civilian colleges and universities to acquire skills and expertise in other fields which may have relevance in Army activities. In operations, the Army support the unified command, the preservation of national security. In this regard, tactical brigades were fielded in strategic areas of the country. A notable feature in combat operations is the utilization of 20-year-old draftees, which is a blending of youth and experience, by incorporating into the combat units draftees who have gone through 18 months of intensive training service. The assistance of the Army is not only confined to combat operations. It is also committed in supporting police operations in the metropolitan Manila area. As a major military agency, it is charged with the implementation of decrees and letter of instructions in accordance with Presidential Proclamation 1081 or during any national emergency. For this reason, the Army is tasked to assist in the security and management of key industries and public service facilities to assure the continuance of operations vital to public welfare. Concurrent with the Army's mission of maintaining peace and order, its involvement in socio-economic activities. In the pursuit of this effort, home defense centers were established to perform dual functions of reserve administration and active participation in the socio-economic program of the government. In civil relations, efforts are geared towards a positive flow of information to achieve total awareness and civilian support of the goals of the new society. Involvement in cultural renaissance gives rise to the Army's participation in the stage, literature, dance and music, the most popular of the performing and non-performing arts today. The Civic Action Program of the Home Defense Centers includes medical and dental activity, animal dispersal, reforestation, agricultural projects, and other miscellaneous environmental improvement activities. Spearheading the civic action projects of the Army are the engineer brigades, which conduct the construction of infrastructure. Aside from these major units, every Army unit undertakes civic action activities. Our participation in civic assistance is the conduct of rescue, relief, and rehabilitation activities wherever calamities and disasters occur. The restructuring of the Army organization necessitated the elimination of old and heavy equipment. In a modest way, the Army is on the way towards totally modernizing its equipment, particularly its armaments. The perennial logistic problem on mobility necessitates the recourse to effective planning and meticulous preventive maintenance. Despite these problems, however, the Army has met recent challenges of the new order and is well prepared to meet current requirements of defense and socio-economic endeavors. That, my friends, is the picture of your Army today. In all its efforts and motivations, the Philippine Army has one overriding goal: total service to the country and the people. While it has only a modest number of men and equipment, it is an organization that is potent in its own right. Along with its defense capability, it is an army that has a heart and a conscience, concerned not only with security, but also with the physical and material welfare of its people. In line, therefore, with its spirit of service, the Army is always ready to promote the climate of peace and order necessary for the development of the country. As a parting thought, the Army's concept of service may be summed up in the words of the commanding general, Major General Josephus Q. Ramos.
The democratic revolution waged by our national leadership under our president calls for the army of man. For man is the spirit, the heart and the mind upon which our destiny resides. The Philippine Army has always been an army of man, the army of the Filipino people, to whom every soldier dedicates his loyalty, draws his strength, and shares his pride. Our continuing objective to keep in step with the times and change carries this principle. We train our men not only as masters and operators of fighting hardware or experts in doctrines and tactics, but more significantly, as partners of the people in the quest for achievement and national greatness. Our main effort places emphasis on motivating our soldiers that they may reflect in their actions and deeds the inspiring tradition and commitment of Filipino soldiery and the aspiration of our race as one nation with one spirit. Today, we take pride in claiming that the Philippine Army has grown into a defense force we can truly be proud of. It shall continue to grow as an army of man, an army with a heart and mind, an army which can feel and understand the deepest meaning of service, yet with a mighty protective arm ready to shield the peace, freedom, and security of our republic against all threats. This is our commitment. This is our commitment to the Filipino people.
Ating diwa, langit at